Señoritas y señores, bienvenidos a mi canal de YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is for Español 2, Spanish 2, the sequel. I am your teacher, your maestro, your profesor, Señor Barbosa. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for finding me. There's quite a few of you who took me last year for Spanish 1 who know, you guys know how this whole thing works. And it's more of the same. So if you're returning from last year when you took me for Spanish 1, it's exactly the same approach. Now, if you're taking me for the first time, if you haven't had me before for Español, then you can talk to these people who have had me before. But just really quickly, I'm going to tell you right now that it's muy importante that you watch these YouTube videos so that you can help yourself learn a little more about what we learn in Spanish class. You're probably wondering to yourself, Señor Barbosa, ¿dónde estás? Where are you? ¿Por qué no estás en la clase de español? How come you are not in Spanish class? Well, I've got a very good reason. Toward the end of last school year, quite unexpectedly, I should add, we welcomed, my wife and I, we welcomed a new baby boy and a baby girl into the world. We had baby twins. Their names are Sam and Penny. And they are the joy of our lives. They are just life-changing. I mean, like now we're changing diapers and burping and like feeding them, but like, you know, we're just embracing being brand new parents, and it's the greatest thing in the world. It's the greatest love that I've ever experienced. Voy a volver. I will be back the day after Labor Day. In the meantime, however, you guys are in great hands with la maestra, la profesora Tatum. She is going to take care of you guys until I'm able to come back. And thank you once again for your paciencia, for your patience, for being team players. Don't worry, yo voy a volver, I will return. So very, very soon, you know, you'll see me back in the class. However, you're in good hands right now, so please make sure that what you need to do what you need to do. And that way you keep up with, like, you know, the pace of la clase de español. So if it's important to you, then you're gonna make time for Español and you're gonna be successful at it, all right? So it's time for our very first lección, la primera lección del año escolar para Español 2. Stay tuned because there's gonna be plenty more content to follow in the school year. But let's get to the first batch of lessons. Here we go. Muy bien, señoritas y señores. Thanks for following me to my computadora. We have a couple of special guests today. Oh, there she goes.
No, not me.
All right, so maybe next time Mrs. Barbosa will be on camera. But this little guy right over here, his name is Sam. Hola, hola a todos, hola, hola. As you can see, he looks thrilled to be here. All right, so the first thing we're going to be doing, señoritas y señores, and I'm going to see how long I can last with this guy hanging, but we'll find out. Let's take a look at your libro. See, your required libro en la clase de español. There it is right there. This is the beginning couple of pages called Para Empezar. This is our review. That's stuff that you should have learned from Español 1. And so it's going to take us back to when we were talking about adjectives, describing ourselves, describing other people. Also nationalities, you know, we're going to have to learn how to say that someone is this nationality, like from this country of origin and whatnot. And then also a quick review of present tense regular verbs. All right, so it's muy importante, as always, ladies and gentlemen, to bring your book to class every day. Just about 90% of the time we need it. Sometimes we don't need it, but hey, you don't want to get caught flat-footed because, of course, no required materials means no participation points, and that can negatively affect your grades. So bring your stuff. Let's go over adjetivos, adjectives. Okay, this information is based on página 3, page 3 in your libro. Adjectives describe people, places, and things. Hey, let me get the PowerPoint from Spanish 1. Again, this is our review, all right? So let's just recap. Describing words, adjectives, okay? Don't forget, masculine, feminine, all right? So if we have our friend Marcos, he's a serious guy. Marcos es serio, all right? Now if we have Ana, she's a serious girl. Ana es seria. What do you think about that? Huh? All right. And then sometimes adjectives end in E. And so those adjectives can describe both masculine nouns and feminine nouns. You can see right here the adjective inteligente. You can say that Ana is inteligente, Jose is inteligente. Oops. Ana es inteligente, Jose es inteligente. All right. Sometimes you're going to have adjectives that end in OR, trabajador, you know, those are masculine. So if you want to describe Ana being a hard worker, add an A, so now you have trabajadora, all right? Sometimes, and you're going to find this a lot more now that you're taking Spanish too, sometimes rules are made to be broken. Look at this, deportista should be a feminine adjective, right? Well, guess what? Deportista, dentista, periodista, a lot of words in Spanish or adjectives in Spanish that end in ista can describe both masculine and feminine nouns, guys and girls. Let's see here. Adjectives, where do they go? Usually, not all the time, but usually they get placed after the noun that they're describing. El chico gracioso, la chica inteligente, el pollo loco. All right? Yeah, look at that. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. A little continuation on what I was talking about right here. Margarita es una chica artística. Okay, una chica. Okay, chica is your noun. Una is your indefinite article. Artística goes right here. Again, most of the time, you're gonna put the adjective after the noun you describe. Not all the time. For example, when you say good morning in Spanish, you say buenos días. But, you know, the more you practice Español, the more you kind of get that, you know, like a lot of practice, and then you'll know when to use adjectives, if it goes before or after. Most of the time it's after, all right? Margarita es una chica muy artística. Yo soy un estudiante inteligente. Yeah. La señora Ortiz es una profesora muy buena. So that's a quick look at adjectives, señoritas y señores. On to the next thing. Whoa. All right, everybody. Sammy sends his kind regards. He had to go eat, so he says adios, but hasta pronto. Okay, until next time. So he'll be back, I'm pretty sure. And of course, you'll get to meet the rest of the familia, my daughter Penny, and my lovely esposa, my beautiful wife. But let's go back to this, and we're actually going to stick with the book for this part of this first video of the school year. Let's review the verb ser out of the libro, and the reason why is because I want to show you this. I want to show you this yellow chart that you've seen in Spanish 1, and now you see it again in Spanish 2. A lot of times when you see these type of pages in your libro, and in this one it's going to be on page 5 in your textbook, you're going to see the way it's fully conjugated in the present tense as far as verb conjugations are concerned. Remember that the verb ser usually tells about what people are like with their characteristics or personalities. Esas chicas son bonitas. They are pretty. They are beautiful. You usually use the verb ser to tell where somebody is from, place of origin. Son de Buenos Aires. They are from Buenos Aires. And also, don't forget the difference between ser and estar, where ser usually talks about something, characteristics that are more permanent, and then the verb estar usually talks about characteristics that are more temporary, okay? And then also the verb estar is used a lot so that you can locate things. ¿Dónde está mi pluma? ¿Dónde está? Oh, aquí está mi pluma. Ah, tana. Aquí está mi pluma. So the actual verb ser is a irregular conjugation, which means that you have to memorize the changes. No formula here. So, yo soy. Tú eres. Usted, él, ella es. Nosotros, sometimes nosotras somos. In Spain they would say vosotros sois, but again, Spain only most of the time. Very rarely used in the Americas, or at least where we live. And then ustedes, ellos, ellas son. All right, soy, eres, es, somos, son. Nationalities, everybody. Look who's back. Oh, he's falling asleep. So, shh. Let's get to this. Here we go. Nationalities. Talking about where somebody is from, place of origin. Now, a couple of things you got to keep in mind. You're going to have to make sure that you follow the number gender rules. What I mean by that is singular, plural, masculine, feminine. Okay, you got to keep that in mind when describing somebody from a country. Second thing you got to keep in mind, these are usually paired up with the verb ser. So, for example, if I am Mexican, soy mexicano. Eres mexicana, if you're female. Somos mexicanos. Okay? And then the third thing that you might notice is that all of these adjectives are lowercase or beginning with lowercase letters. Okay, they are not capitalized. All right. So let's start from the top, and you might want to repeat these after me because some of these are tough to say. Here we go. Let's start with Argentina. If somebody's from Argentina, argentino, Argentina. Okay. Él es argentino. Ella es argentina. And of course, if it's a group of people, ellos son argentinos. Okay, that's the way that works. Bolivia, boliviano, boliviana. Chile, chileno, chilena. Colombia, colombiano, colombiana. Costa Rica, this one's a tough one. Costarricense. Once again, Costarricense. Notice that Costarricense ends in the letter E. And don't forget the grammar rules about adjectives. If it ends in E, that means the adjective can describe guys and girls. So a guy can be Costarricense, a girl can be Costarricense. Okay. Ecuatoriano. Ecuatoriano. Ecuatoriana. El Salvador, someone from El Salvador, salvadoreño, salvadoreña. If someone's from Spain, España, español, just like the language, española. Guatemala, guatemalteco, guatemalteca. Honduras, hondureño, hondureña. Right. Mexico, mexicano, mexicana. Nicaragua, nicaragüense. Again, if you're a guy or a girl, nicaragüense. Panamá, panameño, panameña. Paraguay, paraguayo, paraguaya. If you're from South America, you might say paraguayo, paraguaya. And there's a reason to that, so I'll explain some other time. Peru, peruano, peruana. Puerto Rico, puertorriqueño, puertorriqueña. If you're from the República Dominicana, dominicano, dominicana. Uruguay, uruguayo, uruguaya. If you're from South America, you might say uruguayo, uruguaya. And then finally, Venezuela, venezolano, venezolana. It would be great if you guys memorize all of these, okay? And then once you get better at Spanish, once you get really good at Spanish, then believe it or not, you can replace these with, if you get to buddy up with somebody, or if you get to really get to know somebody from one of these countries, to break the ice. And something that is really cool, all of these nationalities also have nicknames. Let me explain. If you're from Costa Rica, here it says Costarricense, that's the official term. But if you're from Costa Rica, you are a tico or a tica. Pretty cool, huh? If you are from Honduras, it says hondureño or hondureña. That's the official nationality, but the nickname nationality is catracho or catracha. If you're from Puerto Rico, of course, puertorriqueño, puertorriqueña, but the nickname would be boricua. For guys and girls, boricua. And there's a few other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head. I might have to do the research on it. So there you go, nationalities, please. Por favor, put these up here. See? Sí, muy bien. I did find this on a website called forum.wordreference.com about nicknames when you're talking about people's nationalities. If you are from Guatemala, you might be considered a chapín. If you are from Nicaragua, you might be considered a pinolero. If you're from Honduras, catracho, I think I already said that one. Costa Rica, tico, I think I said that one. Oh, El Salvador, guanaco. All right, so, but I would recommend that you be buddy-buddy with the person that you're talking to from these countries first, okay? Because you kind of have to cozy up to people first before you start using these informally. just like anything. I mean, because, you know, you don't want to step on any toes or anything like that. So that's just a quick look at nationalities. Okay, and then one last set of things about nationalities. If you're from the United States, you could take a look in your libro on page página 7. You can see that if you are from the USA, you are estadounidense. Once again, estadounidense. If you're from North America, norteamericano, norteamericana. And then if you're from Canada, canadiense, canadiense. Okay, so there you go. If you're from the United States, in English, our nickname would be a Yankee, all right? And then if you're from Canada, then you would be a Canuck, I think. That's according to some hockey players anyway. Oh, and then one last thing. You can break down nicknames as far as where people are from into cities. Yeah, cities. Like, for example, if you're from Mexico, and if you are from the area of Monterrey, you are regiomontano. If you are from Mexico City, you would be, what do they call people from Mexico City? What is it? From la Ciudad de Mexico? Chilango. Yeah, Chilango, there you go. And then finally, if you're from, what about if you're from Guadalajara? Tapatio, just like the hot sauce. There you go, Tapatio or Tapatia if you're in the city of Guadalajara. So the more Spanish you acquire, the more Spanish you practice, learn, then once you get really cozy with like somebody from these countries or from these cities, you can whip that out and they'll be really impressed with your knowledge about where people are from. Okay, Sammy fell asleep, so I took him downstairs. Damn, that kid's heavy. If you're from Colombia, one last thing. If you're from Colombia, how can I forget Colombia? People from Colombia, because I love coffee. You are a cafetero or a cafetera. Yeah, cafetero or cafetera from Colombia. Let's review all about present tense of regular verbs. This información can be found on página 9, page 9 in your Spanish book. And so remember that in Spanish, 3 types of infinitives. That's what you call a Spanish verb. Okay, they end in AR, ER, and IR. So it is your responsibility to make sure that you memorize how to work these out. You learned this in Spanish 1, but it's time for us to recap, okay? So I'm going to take myself away temporarily from the video so that I can show you how this all shakes out. Let's take the first verb. Let's take an example of an AR ending infinitive. The most common one, I think we can all agree, is the verb hablar. So here is the chart, once again, with all the pronouns, the subject pronouns. And so what you got to do in this situation with the verb hablar, once again, it's an AR ending verb. You're going to have to, for regular verbs in the present tense, write the stem. All right. You can see right over here that the stem is always going to be HABL for the verb hablar. Like so. All right. And then, of course, the second step is to be sure that you put the appropriate endings. So if I speak in Spanish, yo hablo. You speak in Spanish, tú hablas. And then the rest, usted, él, ella habla. Nosotros hablamos. Ustedes, ellos, ellas hablan. In Spain, they would say vosotros habláis. But again, that's going to be your call if you want to do that one. Next up in our list of present tense regular verbs, we've got ER ending infinitives such as comer. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, the best way to approach this is to be sure that you write the stem of each conjugation. Okay, so this is, of course, once again, ER ending verbs. You're going to have to take out this ER ending and then put in the appropriate endings when you conjugate these verbs. If I am eating, yo como. You eat, tú comes. Usted, él, ella come. Nosotros comemos. Ustedes, ellos, ellas comen. All right. So once again, just swap out a couple of pieces here with some new pieces, kind of like Lego blocks. And those are your endings for ER ending verbs in the present tense, regular ones such as comer. Finally, we have the IR ending infinitive, señoritas y señores. So let's take a look at a verb such as vivir, IR ending. Once again, the strategy here is for you to replace the IR. Make sure that you put the stem down. The stem of the verb goes first, and then, of course, put the appropriate endings. Yo vivo. Oops. Tú vives. Usted, él, ella vive. Nosotros vivimos. IMOS, not EMOS. Ustedes, ellos, ellas viven. And that is a look at present tense regular verbs. Now, of course, as you acquire more Español, then of course you get the ones that are stem changing. Those are the more difícil ones. Then, of course, you have the other ones that have irregular yo forms. And so basically, we're going to start you off simple at the beginning of the school year, but then we ramp it up with the degree of difficulty conjugating verbs in the present tense. And then, of course, after you're done with the present tense, then, of course, you start talking about past tense. And there's so many more conjugations, future tense, conditional tense, subjunctive mood. But we'll cross those bridges when we get there. Finalmente, finally, señoritas y señores, the very last thing that we got to go over for this preliminary chapter para empezar for Español 2, and then you guys start chapter 1 after this chapter. The last review part that you're going to need to know is going to be on página 10, page 10. Asking questions in Español. Do you guys remember how to do that? Here are the question words that you learned in Spanish 1. ¿A dónde? ¿Cómo? ¿Cuál? Sometimes ¿cuáles? ¿Cuándo? ¿Cuánto? ¿Cuánta? ¿Cuántos? ¿Cuántas? ¿De dónde? ¿Dónde? ¿Por qué? ¿Qué? ¿Quién? Or ¿quiénes? Okay, so ¿a dónde? Means to where. ¿Cómo? Means how. ¿Cuál? Or ¿cuáles? Means which or which ones. ¿Cuándo? When. ¿Cuánto? ¿Cuánta? ¿Cuántos? ¿Cuántas? You're going to have to be mindful of the number and gender rules. Okay, singular, plural, masculine, feminine come into play if you're going to be using those. How many, okay, or how much sometimes. ¿De dónde? From where. ¿Dónde? Where. ¿Por qué? Why. ¿Qué? What. And ¿quién or quiénes? Who or whom. Watch out for ¿a dónde?, ¿de dónde?, and ¿dónde? They're very similar, but they mean different, slightly different meanings. ¿A dónde? To where. ¿De dónde? From where. ¿Dónde? Where. And then, of course, you pair these up with how often all of this happens. A menudo, sometimes. A veces, also sometimes. Después de, after, whatever. El fin de semana, or los fines de semana, the weekend or the weekends. Nunca. Ask me about nunca later in the school year. Siempre. And then that's always, and then todos los días, every day. Just like learning Spanish. Every day. You're going to have to put in that practice every day. All right? And that's just about going to do it for this video. Señoritas y señores, thank you very much for checking in with Señor Barbosa here at my casa. Don't forget, señoritas y señores, to leave your comment below for the points. You want credit for watching these homework videos, then you're going to need to leave your proper heading down below. Nombre, fecha, periodo. All right? And just because you leave your name, date, period down below doesn't mean that, you fulfilled your obligations or duties. You are responsible for the content that I teach in these videos. And we will find out whether or not you've been paying attention or if you've been watching these videos when it comes around to the time when we take a test or a quiz. So come up big, okay? You got to take ownership for your education. Por favor. That's going to do it for me. Señoritas y señores, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Adios.